Hello, my name is Peter. I did my project on salamanders. I chose this project because I like amphibians a lot, and salamanders are amphibians, and many people do not know much about them. Also because I think people should care more about them. And I did this project with my friend Isaac also, but it's quarantine, so you can't really do that. A salamander is any amphibian from the groups Candata or Urodela. According to the Webster's ninth Colgate Dictionary, an amphibian is an amphibious organism, especially any from the class Amphibia, cold-blooded vertebrates as frogs, toads, and newts. Intermediate in many characters between reptiles and fish, having gilled aquatic larvae and air-breathing adults. Salamanders live everywhere in the world except Antarctica and very dry places such as the Sahara Desert in Africa. They have very different diets, as some of them eat salamanders, will more eat fish, and yet more eat bugs, and some of them eat all three. These three foods are the most common, but there are a great many others still. Their diets depend mostly upon their habitats. All salamanders have a stage of metamorphosis or larval stage. Salamanders are laid on underwater rocks, but most salamanders do not have a free-living larvae stage. In these cases, the mother carries the eggs around in her pouch until they hatch, or lays them on land and guards them until they develop. After the larval stage, they live underwater, breathing through gills until they develop lungs. Once they develop lungs, they live primarily on land, with the exception of the axolotl, which lives its entire life underwater. The lifespan of a salamander depends on the type of salamander. For instance, the tiger salamander lives 6 to 7 years, but the Pacific giant salamander can live to almost 15 years. The average lifespan of a salamander is 5 to 8 years. The length of a salamander varies from 4 inches to 1 foot. The standard weight of a salamander is 2 to 9 ounces. Salamanders are near the bottom of the tree of life, coming just before dinosaurs. Salamanders are not too close to extinction in general, but many single species may die out soon. Luckily, most of these species are protected. The axolotl. The axolotl is one of the rarest animals on Earth. It is the only salamander that spends its entire life underwater. Their scientific name is Ambystoma mexicanum. These strange creatures live in the Exo-Chilomanico Lake Complex in Mexico. This complex is made up of 3 lakes: Lake Texcoco, Lake Calcoco, and Lake Exo-Chilomanico. The lakes are situated in an oval valley, but are separated by narrow channels. The average lifespan of an axolotl is 6 to 7 years. They are 9 to 11 inches long and weigh 2 to 4 ounces. They eat snails, fish, and arthropods, and worms. It is believed that axolotls hunt on the lake bed, sensing small electric movements in the muscles of their prey. Young axolotls use tentacles to filter oxygen into their body. As they grow older, they develop gills. The reason axolotls spend their entire life underwater is that they never mature into adults because they lack the hormone necessary to develop lungs. As an experiment, scientists gave this hormone to some axolotls, and they became air-breathing creatures. Under normal circumstances, these salamanders reproduce in the larvae stage, which is called neoteny. Female axolotls lay around 200 jelly-coated eggs on rocks or pond weeds. The eggs take 14 days to mature, but only about 10 eggs will hatch because they provide food for many animals. The word axolotl comes from the Mexican word for monster. They were probably called monster because of their long tentacles, but I think they're adorable. The European fire salamander. The European fire salamander lives in the Alps and western Balkan mountains. It is 6 to 11 inches long, and it weighs 3 to 7 ounces. They live 6 to 7 years, but are often eaten by predators such as other salamanders or large fish. Fire salamanders are black with bright yellow splotches and have a stocky figure. An old belief is that they could withstand the heat of fire. This belief originated because They were often sighted running out from under piles of burning logs. Thus people believed they lived in fire. Contrary to this, however, these salamanders prefer to hunt in the cool of the night. They eat worms, slugs, and other similar foods. They ambush their prey from under rocks because of their stockiness, which makes them much slower than most salamanders. They start breeding in their 4th year between summer and autumn. The female bucks into the water and lays around 30 eggs. The eggs hatch within 2 weeks, and the regular life cycle of a salamander begins again. Unfortunately, only a few of the eggs survive because they make a tasty snack for many fish. The tiger salamander. The tiger salamander is the largest land salamander in the world. They can grow up to 15 inches, 40 centimeters long, and weigh up to 20 ounces. The only salamander larger than the tiger salamander is the Japanese giant salamander. The tiger salamander's coloring is the same as that of the fire salamander, only its splotches are much duller. They are also poisonous. However, no matter how dull these splotches are, enough to warn off its predators. Luckily for humans, the poison only causes serious itching. On the other hand, for its prey, the poison is extremely dangerous. The tiger salamander is probably the most aggressive salamander of all, mostly because they have a very large diet, eating from insects to other salamanders. These salamanders are one of the few salamanders to live in the same place until they die. Other salamanders constantly move to find new prey, leaving their burrows behind. Sometimes a tiger salamander will find an old burrow, otherwise they will dig their own. Females lay their eggs on damp rocks, and after about 10 days they hatch. Unfortunately, only a few of these eggs will hatch because they make a tasty snack for many fish. When they hatch, babies are already 3 inches long and growing rapidly into adults. If I could have any salamander for a pet, I would choose a tiger salamander. This is my bibliography.